Hello, everyone. It has been several days since I've been able to do a video, and as you can see, today's video is not outside. I am suffering from just exhaustion and who knows what else. um, I'm just extremely tired. Daylight savings did not help, and it's thrown my children out of whack and me further out of whack. And um, I love the government messing with my sleep. So, but that's the point. Um, so, anyway, today's video is inside because I'm just that tired, but I really felt called to do a video, and so I thought I would go ahead and hop on real quick and do one. Um, there's a lot of noise the last few days. I have seen a lot of panic and fear online that the monetary system's collapsing and things like that. And there's lots of stuff coming out that has been out for a while, quite frankly. And if you're just awakening now, it may be new and you're going to, it might be shocking and it might cause you to be in a panicked fear state. Um, and I guess I would encourage you to move into that observer mindset where you're in the audience watching the show instead of being a performer in the show. And I've talked about too, there are times where there's actually a reason to be in fear in a moment. And then there's other times that's not. And, if it makes you feel like you need to go out and buy and box up, a bunch of pasta and rice and, what are they, MREs or something, something like that, then do it. I can tell you that there's a certain stage in my awakening where, my biggest concern was my kids. And I told my husband I never want my kids to be hungry. And, are we always well stocked? Sure. That's something that's always on my radar. But it's not something I am in a fear panic state about. That's just what I do. And that's just how I am. And there's other people that live very much in the moment and know that they're always taken care of too, and they don't prepare anything, and that must be a fantastic state to be in as well. And neither is right, wrong, or the other. But if you are in a fear state, sometimes that means giving up your control, your power, and you're giving it to something else, whether it's this greater societal, we're in fear, the dollar's collapsing thing, whatever it is now, because the fear factor always changes and our focus is being asked to shift constantly. And that's why if you can stand back into that observer mode and just go, oh my gosh, do I really need to be in fear in this moment? Is there something that if I am in fear, I can prepare so I'm in less fear, or I can move out of that fear state? Or you may just be, there's no reason for me to be in fear. I'm always going to be taken care of. All of them are possible. And there's a lot of in-between shades there too. So, right now, part of the reason I am exhausted is I am pregnant. So obviously my worldview is not there were times in the last few years where I was just like, I can't do that again and be in how this world is. And um, now I'm not in that place. And um, I'm very, very happy. I'm very exhausted because I'm an quote unquote older mom, which I've been an older mom for two of my other four pregnancies. Um, so whatever. But I am feeling it this time, and we are seeing on Friday if we're having twins or not. Because, yeah, and it's hilarious because I'm really okay if it's twins, and I'm really okay if it's not. I'm just exhausted and waiting to get through this first stage of pregnancy where I'm not, hopefully, as exhausted all the time. Um, and um, it's interesting. My oldest child, I didn't expect to be happy, excited, and she's hoping for twins. My second child, who I thought would be excited, is like, just one, please, just one, please. And my third child's like, I want triplets. So I can see a lot of the work that I have done the last few years paying off now in these moments where I'm exhausted and I just need to rest, and not beating myself up so much. Or if I do beat myself up, having love and compassion and kindness for myself for doing that and knowing why I'm doing that. I am so grateful that my husband and I have worked on our relationship so hard over the past several years, and he's just been amazing, more amazing than I can ever recall with any of my other pregnancies. He probably won't like hearing that, but he really has been. Um, I'm just truly in a very grateful place. I'm doing all the herbs and everything that you can do if you're, having bad nausea, vomiting, dizziness, like all of it. That's why I've been wearing these armbands, because they do pressure points. Um, so, doing everything I can do, but this is just where I'm at right now, and I'm honoring that. And whether it's because I'm an older mom, whether it's because I'm pregnant with twins, whether it's because I'm just pregnant, okay. And I know I'm just going to function in this now moment. So, um, while I love doing these videos and I'm going to keep doing them, it is a bit of a time commitment, but not bad. And it's something I love to do. I think this is a way of encouraging each other. There's some biblical passage is something like, when two or more are together, um, like you can celebrate, or you're having a church moment or whatever. And I'm not a big Bible person, but I do think there are nuggets of truth in there, laden with very much patriarchal manipulations and stuff. But those nuggets ring true. That makes people more adept to the whole thing ringing true. And I think this is an interesting way of using technology so that we can commune together and be together. And I love that there's people that leave comments and stuff, and sometimes it's just an encouraging word, and other times it's like, wow, that made a big impact on my day or my way of thinking or whatever. And that's really, I think, part of being here. That's part of morphing on this journey, is we're switching into love and kindness and holding each other up and not tearing each other down. I saw a thing for daylight savings that was like something at at the closing hymnal. You'll see all the people who forgot about daylight savings, and I just didn't like the tone of that. Like, these are supposed to be people you're going to church with and you're loving God with, and maybe that's judgment on my part. But, you know, wouldn't it be better to call everybody or have church be a little bit later that day or whatever? I don't know. It just didn't seem, it seemed to be lacking empathy and kindness and love, which seems directly against what anything like that should be. There's been a lot of big energy shifts this last week. If you watch the Schumann Resonance, it's on Twitter and it's on Facebook, and you can actually go to the website and just look at it yourself. If you see me on Twitter, that's one of the things I frequently share. Just, my kids know when the energy is off; they can feel it, and they're like, my second kid will be like, "Mom, can I check the energy right now? Because I'm feeling a little funky." And it's interesting. Sometimes there'll be kind of a precursor for the energy shifting the next day or something like that. I've noticed that pattern with my second child. And I've noticed a lot with a lot of the work that I've done, a lot of the shifts don't affect me in the same way that they used to. I used to get a lot of headaches and things like that, and now I don't. So if you're noticing that pattern, I think it's something that you can and do work through. I'm not going to say it's forever. There's times where we'll have a massive shift and I'm like, boom, oh, okay. So I guess I just kind of wanted to touch base with everybody, let you know kind of what's going on in my world a little bit more personally. I feel like I share a lot, but I don't share a lot, and I've been kind of holding on to that little nugget. But I think I didn't want people either to be worried that something was really wrong. Like, my kids started to become really worried that something was wrong with me. And I didn't want them to be worried. And I'm kind of getting to that point here that I don't want anybody to be worried. I'm just pregnant. And I'm really excited to be pregnant. And it's something that we've wanted for a long time. But the timing just hasn't been right for whatever reason. And this was the right time. Apparently, all my babies are destined to be born in August and October, and I'm never going to have winter babies or spring babies or anything like that, which is okay. I really wanted to experience being pregnant in the winter time, but it was not meant to be, and that's okay. I'm sure there's been many lifetimes where I've been pregnant all throughout the year. So for whatever reason, this is the time. I, I was going to try to make this a quick video, but apparently I need to go in a little deeper here. We had experienced a few losses. We had had a loss the month before, which would have been very early, and people are going to be like, well, you don't even know if you were pregnant. You just, like, what? Don't tell me I wasn't pregnant. I was. And we had a loss in August, and again, very early. I offer this viewpoint for anybody struggling with loss, and this is just my viewpoint. You can take it, leave it, whatever. To me, it's very much that baby was not, something was wrong. I feel like the same soul or souls that were supposed to be with me then are with me now. I don't think they've come into their bodies or anything like that, because what a boring time that must be. And I really think they do that later in the pregnancy or up into birth. And again, if that's not what you think, believe, whatever, it's okay. I'm just sharing what works for me. Believing that and seeing other friends that I know who have had miscarriages and then have gone on to have subsequent pregnancies, and maybe even more losses, like, I can see it as an outsider looking in, that there was some reason you weren't supposed to have this baby and you got this baby, and maybe that was the baby you were supposed to have all along, and maybe not. And people say, well, what if I never have a baby? Well, what about, there's people who adopt, there are nieces and nephews, there are your other children having grandchildren. You never know how that soul is going to come back into your life. And if we put constraints on, it's just supposed to be me and this kid coming from me, then that's confining. And so there were times that I thought, I'm just, especially after the last month, we had a miscarriage August 2 years ago, and then didn't kind of really try again until August this past year. Had another loss, and then got pregnant again. December time, miscarriage. And, and I truly just looked at it as, there's some reason, either now is not the right moment, or they're just not supposed to come to me now. They'll come to me later, and it's okay. And I had to be okay with all of the possibilities. And I was. And even now, if something, my family's been like, oh my God, you're sharing so early, and you're so early and everything. And I'm just like, I'm joyful and I'm happy right now. And this is my reason to share, because I want people who love me to love and be happy with me. And, if something does happen, then why wouldn't I want everybody with me to know and go through that with me? And usually it's because other people don't know what to do or say. And so it makes them uncomfortable because they don't know what to do or say about a miscarriage or a loss or death in general. And so we don't talk about that. That's why you shouldn't really tell anybody until you're out of the first trimester. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry I don't subscribe to that. I'm excited. Honestly, holding back on these videos has been hard, but I just didn't feel the right moment, like I do today, to say something. Um, and I guess if you've had loss, whether it's a child, a miscarriage, even if it's just death of a loved one, if you look at it as that soul is either going to come back to you, or this is you having to confront your own worry of death. If you're worried about that, that's something to dig deeper into. Because death is this kind of great illusion. People are worried about heaven and hell and things like that, and never seeing loved ones again and being separated for all eternity. And they can be here with you in every moment. No, it's not the same, because they're not in that same body ever again, and you're not going to ever be in this same body again. So I will acknowledge there are differences, and I think that's one of the things that bothered me a lot when my grandfather died, was that I'm never going to see him in this body again, and I didn't get to say goodbye to him in person. And that bothered me, but I said goodbye to him on a spiritual level, and I was able to talk to him on the phone. And that's what he and I both needed, was that talk on the phone. I again think I'm all over the place, but I don't think I am either, though, because birth and death are closely related. It's a cycle. It's not a forced cycle. I know there's a lot of people that think we're forced to be here and we're enslaved, and oh my gosh, more fear mongering. What is. You always have free will. Don't give your power over to anybody, and that makes you think that you don't have free will. And there's lots of things we could delve down and into, but I can hear my kids are getting a little crazy. It's been crazy with sleep and stuff. So I guess I'll kind of end it there, but I would really encourage you after this video to dig into your own views of life and death, why you come here, why are you forced to come here or not? Sit with that, being forced to come here. And then also deal with death. Like, what do you think happens when you die? Do you think you cross over? You can maybe have a life review, and then you decide if you want to come back again, or maybe you just kick back and, relax, see other people, see old faces. We all recognize each other in our spirit forms. But dig into, like, are you afraid to die? I know I'm not ready to die, because I still have work I want to do here. That doesn't mean when the time comes that I'm afraid. There's a difference. So if you need something to work on, maybe dig into that. Maybe just dig into fear in general, about the noise of the world. If the noise of the world is bothering you, dig down deep into why. Ask yourself, why is this bothering me? Why is this causing fear? Why is this triggering me? And the more you work on that, and the more you uncover, then the less you'll have to be afraid of. So, I hope you have a great day. I don't know when the next video is going to be, but it was great seeing and being with everyone right now in this now moment. Love you all.